Okay, this is review number 3, 426 to 32. Review number 3. So here we go. Number 1, we're going to write an exponential function containing 0, 3, and 248. Now, remember, an exponential function is a times b to the x. And we know that the number paired with the 0, the y-intercept, is always the initial value. It's always a. So now we'll plug in 48 for y and 2 for x. We'll divide by 3 and take the square root. So our equation is 3 times 4 to the x. This is always a. We're going to plug in our point, 48 and 2, divide by 3, take the square root. Now we're going to simplify, this is number 2, this expression. Now remember, a fractional exponent always means a radical. So you're going to have a radical, 4's in it. It's a square root cubed. By the way, PEMDAS, we have to do the exponent first. Don't try to combine these two ever. You have to do the exponent first. So this says the square root of 4 cubed. So the square root of 4 is 2, and 2 cubed is 8, and 1/2 times 8 is 8 over 2. Oops. So the answer to that problem is 4. 1/2 times 8, 4. All right, now for number 3, we have an exponential function, and we have to list its initial value. Well, kids, you can look at it. The initial value is right here. The initial value is a. That's your initial value every time. And then the rate of growth or decay comes from here. This is not the rate of growth or decay, but it gives you the rate of growth or decay. Because since it's less than 1, it's going to be a decay problem. And I need to figure out how much less than 1 it is. So how much less than 1 is this number? So I'll just subtract. So it's 0.085 less than 1, which means it's an 8.5% decay. Think about that for a second. If this had been a 0.92, you would all say, oh, that's 8%. Well, it's a little bit less than that. It's 8.5%. The rate is always how much away from 1 you are. So how much away from 1 is this number? It's 0.085. Okay, next, what do we got? Oh, we're solving an equation. Oops, that's just one. So the first thing we'll do is multiply through by x. So we'll have an x squared, an x, and a 90. because I am multiplying everything by x and those cancel. Now, that's a quadratic, so I'll bring the 90 over, get it set equal to 0. Now, I need to think about things that multiply to 90. So, I don't know about you, but the first thing that pops into my head is 9 and 10. 9 times 10 is 90. So, x minus 10, x plus 9. And again, I'm going to check that. First, outside, inside, last. Just foiling it to see if I'm right. These add up to -1. And there's my -90, so it's all good. Okay? So now I'm ready to write my answer. This is my check. I'll erase that. And my answer then would be 10 or -9. X minus 10 equals 0, x plus 9 equals 0, 10 or -9. And then, last one on this sheet, we've got x squared minus 2x greater than or equal to 35. Well, this one's kind of like this one was right here at this step. You got an x squared, you got to have a 0. So x squared minus 2x minus 35. And now we'll factor it, just like we did this one. So let's see, 35 would be 5 and 7. I'll take a minute and FOIL that out just to make sure. First, outside, inside, last. I'm just double checking. And sure enough, that checks. So that's good. Now, since this is a greater than problem, not an equal to. When it was an equal to, we just said, okay, 10 and -9. Now, we're going to say -5 and 7, but those are dots on the number line. Because since it's an inequality, we're going to have to do some shading. We didn't have to do that here. We just have dots here. A dot at 10, a dot at -9, done. But here, we're going to have a dot at -5, a dot at 7. They're both going to be colored in because of the or equal to. And now I have to figure out where I'm going to shade. So I'll pick 0 because that's what I picked, but you can pick any number you want except -5 or 7. And I'm going to put in 0, so 0's in here between -5 and 7. So that gives me -7 times 5, -35. If I put in 0, I get -35. Is that bigger than 0? Well, no. So I do not shade where I picked my number from. That means this is shaded and this is shaded. So my answer is going to involve infinities because I've got the arrows. So it's going to be -infinity to -5 or 7 to infinity. Remember, these are closed dots, so those numbers have to have brackets. Infinities never have brackets, so there's always going to be parentheses, and that's the answer to the question. Good job.